Now, today we will be studying why should we measure growth? Now, growth actually means that if you produce some economic goods and services, and if you produce it with a profit motive, and you have a profit in your mind, and you want to actually earn or maximize your profit, that is when you will grow your income, and that is how a nation grows its income. A particular company or a particular household, when he wants to earn more profit, he has to produce more, and those goods are known as economic goods that are produced with a profit motive. Same is true for the national economy. If an economy wants to grow its income, if an economy wants to grow the profits, then the economy has to increase the production of goods and services that are produced with an economic motive. So now we know that if you want to increase growth in the economy, you have to have an increase in production, and increase in production of economic goods and services. Economic goods and services. Now, this is very important. We have to have an increase in the production of economic goods and services. Now, the second question is a very basic question, that how can we increase the production of economic goods and services? We will get to the measurement of national income or the measurement of growth in the later part of the lecture. But now this is very important, that what is required to increase the production of economic goods and services. Fine. So for that, we have to study the four important factors. Now see, if you have to do any production, if you have to increase the production, आपको production करनी है किसी भी economic goods and services, you want to increase the production. For that, you have four important factors of production. You have four important factors of production. We call them factors of production. These factors are very important to actually produce any goods and services, but it's precisely any economic goods and services. Fine. So if you have to increase the production, you have to have these four factors of production. In economy, we call them land. Land is an important factor of production. Second, labor, land, labor. Number three, capital. And number four, entrepreneur. Capital and entrepreneur. These are your four important factors of production. Now, this is important for you to understand that if you do not have these factors of production, you will not be able to produce any economic goods and service. Now, take, for example, the service you are consuming right now. You are consuming a service of, say, for example, this Edukemy service of coaching the UPSC candidates. Now, I am producing a service right now. Now, for this production of the service, it is an economic service because it is produced with an economic motive. Now, please understand the concept. Economy is actually in our lives, but you have to be able to understand it from particular our own life's example. Now, say, for example, I am giving you a particular service. It is an economic service. Why? Because I am giving you the service with a profit motive. Now, for this service that I'm giving you, the first thing that I require is, say, for example, the services of Zoom. And Zoom can be actually converted to this particular place. Say, for example, when you give an offline lecture, you have a place where you give the lecture. Likewise, Zoom is the place where you are giving these online services. Now, Zoom became the place, the building, the digital platform wherein teachers come in and they provide the services. Fine. So it becomes the place, and that place is considered in economics as land. So land is an important factor of production. Whether you are providing a digital service where it does not require a physical land, but it requires some space. It requires a place in the digital world. That space would be considered land in this case. Now, if I am the producer of, say, for example, agricultural goods, for agricultural goods, if I have to produce these agricultural goods, I cannot produce these in any digital platform. I have to use physical land for that. And when you use physical land, that is considered as a factor of production. You cannot actually have any production of agricultural goods if you do not have land. Is an important factor of production. Fine. Likewise, I'm giving you this economic service right now using the place, using the space that the Zoom has provided, and that becomes the land. It is an important factor of production. Okay. Now, second important factor of production is labor. We need to have labor. We need to have labor. Now, labor is, for example, in this particular case, me. If I'm using the service of Zoom, I have the space now to provide you this economic service. Now, what I require is the labor. And in Edukemy, the labor are the teachers. Fine. The labor are the lecturers that provide you with this service. Or the mentorship program mein jo Rahul aapki mentorship karte hain. So Rahul becomes the labor in this case. Fine. So labor is a particular factor of production. You cannot have any production without labor. Then you have another important factor of production, that is capital. Now I'm asking you, if Edukemy had not invested money in building this digital infrastructure, if it had not invested money in getting these lecturers and teachers from across the lengths and breadths of India, if it had not actually invested money in getting the content developers and getting the, say for example, digital media handlers, and investing capital in this entire infrastructure, you would have not been able to actually enjoy these economic services that Edukemy is providing you. Fine. So this capital becomes an important factor of production. Without capital, there is no production. There cannot happen any production. If I am the producer of an agricultural commodity, say I am the producer of rice, I have to produce rice. I cannot produce rice until I purchase the seeds of rice. So that would be a capital in that case. I have to do some investment, whether on land, whether on irrigation, whether on seeds, whether on fertilizers, whether on manures. All these are is the capital that I'm investing in my production. And then is the entrepreneur. He is the boss behind this entire idea. Say, for example, we have CP sir and we have Shabir sir and Dev sir. These are, say, for example, the entrepreneur bosses that Edukemy has. They are the people that are actually maintaining or that are actually handling all the business activities of this particular enterprise. Now, they are the entrepreneurs. Without entrepreneurs, without Shabir sir, without CP sir, Edukemy would not have been possible. Now, these are the 4 factors of production that you require to have any kind of a production in the economy. Fine. Ab aapko apni life mein, you have to actually do something in your lives. Now, say for example, if any of you has any financial problem, you have a financial problem and you want to earn more in your career, or you want to earn more for the family, you have to feed your family. And for that particular case, what you have to do is just increase the production. Just increase the production, but the production has to be increased of an economic goods and service. Whether you have an economic good or you have an economic service, just start increasing the production. And when you start producing goods and services, a time comes when you are able to scale up the production and you are able to sell the production to the masses. That is how Edukemy started. Shabir sir started giving lectures, and they got these other types of teachers, and they started producing. They gave lectures on YouTube, they gave lectures on Facebook, and people started to realize that the quality is being provided. In geography optional, sir has given a lot of material to the students, and now we have developed a niche for ourselves in particularly in geography optionals, and we're trying to develop our niche in GS Foundation as well. We started the bridge course. Now these are the types of productions that we have been continuously doing from last 2 to 3 years. Now this is how we have been able to scale up the production and have been able to convert it to a monetary benefit for all of us. Now, this is how you actually increase your income. You have to start producing right now. Now, you have a financial problem, just start any production. Do anything, do whatever you want to do, just start the production. You will earn income. And for starting the production, you need 4 important factors of production, that is land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. Just remember that. But you have to also remember that for getting these factors of production, they have a cost as well. So they don't come free. When Edukemy actually hired me, so Edukemy hired a laborer, it hired a teacher, and I am not free for Edukemy. Edukemy pays me a hefty amount, say for example. Now, laborer has to be paid wages, right? He has to be paid salaries. Land has to be paid rent. Like, if you actually purchase a Zoom, you have to continuously give rent to the Zoom. That is considered, it is a factor payment. It is a factor payment. That means these factors of production, they require some payments, and those payments are known as factor payment. Those payments are known as factor payments, or they can also be called factor incomes. They can also be called factor incomes. For example, Edukemy has taken a place in Old Rajendra Nagar in Karol Bagh, and that place, we have taken that particular space and we are continuously giving rent on it. Now, land or space requires rent, whether it be on a digital platform or in a physical world. Laborer requires wages and salary. And where do you get the capital from? Capital we require, whenever we start the capital is actually taken from the banks, and banks actually charge interest on it. Now, Edukemy has invested a huge capital, taking money from all the sources that we have, and also taken money from the banks. And then we have to pay interest on the capital that we get. Now, that is the factor income of this particular factor of production, that is capital. And finally, when all this rent is paid, all the wages are paid, all the interest is paid, finally, what actually remains is the profit. And this profit is actually taken by the entrepreneur. Finally, after giving all the salaries in Edukemy, after giving all the rents that we had to, after paying all the interest that we had to, finally, these entrepreneurs at the top, they will take the profit. These are the factor payments. So these below 4, the rent, wages, interest, and profits, these are the factor payments, and land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur, these are the factor production. Okay, so whenever you have to increase any factor of production, you have to increase any production, have to increase the production of economic goods and services. What you have to do is you have to actually employ the factors of production. You have to give them the factor payments, and then you will actually be able to produce any economic goods and services.